To my iPhone design I built a year and a half ago to the Mac Mini I just built. I guess that wasn't impressive enough, so this time I took my MacBook that was broken and I took an external monitor and I invented something new and I put them together and I created this. The first portable MacBook monitor. But I forgot to mention one single thing.
But wait. You think I was gonna show you the glory shot and not the hard work that I put into making this?
I'm gonna take my screen with me and I'll see you later.
If only I knew what I was getting myself into. Now this all started with no vision but a habit for destruction. So I decided to take apart this MSI portable monitor I had laying around because I saw a clear screen that I could make with it online. And then I ripped off the glare protection layer because, brother, ew. And look at this, so much better.
And then there's this, the 2020 M1 MacBook. But sorry guys, I just didn't do my hair today. I just woke up, so I just wanted to. Now as we open the MacBook, we can see that everything works just fine. We can click things, we can play stuff, we can do things. But as soon as I close it and I reopen it, now this is when the things don't work. I can click here. None of the buttons work. So once it's closed and it opens back up, nothing works again. So it's time for us to get rid of this. Okay, so we're in the inner workings of the MacBook here. Now we got a lot of dust here. We got some dust. I have never opened this up before, but I think someone else has. It seemed like there was some screws that were loose. I don't even know. Let me dust some of this off. I think this is like the Wi-Fi antenna or something. I have to look this up. Maybe I'll Google ChatGPT that or something. Hypothetically. And it did, oh, okay, that was easier than I thought. It just came out.
So this is my first time taking apart a laptop, and the things I don't know how to unscrew, I just kind of break.
And what I got here is the lithium-ion batteries. I have the control unit, but I just can't believe that it's all controlled off this one small, tiny cable. This is the main motherboard. I have it connected to my screen. Hopefully that turns on. And then I have the fan disconnected, but I'm gonna probably connect this. I have the button that turns on the Mac Mini. This is the whole sensor button thing right here. And then there's a bunch of cables that came off the back of this. It seems that these cables are for, this one is for the strip which was broken. This one I removed because it was the power button. And then the whole keyboard setup right here is just all right here. We're gonna fire this thing up and see if it actually does anything. So hopefully this doesn't explode in my face. So after hours, I finally got it to work. This is all you need to run a MacBook, honestly. You just need a fan here. You just need a trackpad, additional keyboard, and a monitor. And this is all you kind of need to run a Mac. You don't even need a screen anymore. Okay, so if you think I'm destroying a brand new MacBook or a good working MacBook, I'm not. Actually, there's a lot of problems that was currently with my MacBook Pro. This whole touch bar didn't work. This was cracked right here. A bunch of buttons didn't work because I spilled liquid on it. The backlight was just so bad. It didn't light up at all. Every time I shut the MacBook, it would either turn off or it would completely freeze. Eventually, it would just shut off. So instead, we're gonna turn this into the first touch screen MacBook. That's an iPad. Think about this. Okay, not that hard. It's gonna be a while. Don't ask why I choose nature videos. I just wanted to make a comparison between the old screen and the new one in color and contrast. The antenna runs all along the top row here, and every time I try to do something, it just snapped. So what I did was I makeshift an antenna. I had some antennas from basically drones, but the problem was connection point was too big. The ones for the MacBook are just a little bit smaller. So what I did was I cut the wire, I stripped it, and then I wrapped grounding wire around it, and then I had the signal wire. So now I can attach this to basically an antenna, and I can transmit Wi-Fi signal and Bluetooth from like a mile away now. Okay, so here's the proposed idea. I want to take two screens and have one coming up automatically behind the other screen. Now this is going to be a test mock-up of what I plan to do, but so I want to take wire This is actually fishing wire, good for 20 pounds. So I think if I take 2 of them, put 2 servos right here, and then I run the wire up here, and then it comes down here. I think it's gonna pull the other screen up, and then I can have a limit switch that it touches and it stops it. And then when I want it down, I just press a button and it will go down. Now in theory, that's what's supposed to work. So let me just mock this up, see what happens. Now, I don't see anyone ever done this before. This is kind of something that I'd thought about. This is the smallest motor I could find that was within reason, that could fit here. I'm trying to think of other ways that I could do it because I want the whole back to be as small and compact. It's kind of going to be like a more of an old Mac style. So we're going to try to mock this up. Let's see if we can get this to work. I'm going to hook this up to an ESP32 and we're going to try to run it and just see if this is even possible. So we just had a crazy earthquake here in Thailand. It was like an 8 point something. Well, anyways, so I made this back piece here. So this is the start. It's gonna sit kind of just flush. So I'm trying to keep it as low profile as possible. And so it protects the back. It's gonna have a nice back cover here. And then moving on. So this is gonna be partially the servo. So basically when I plug this into here, it should move. And that's what's gonna pull up the string and then ultimately pull up the screen. So this is kind of a ghetto setup here. I just wanna see if this is actually It worked in my head, so I'm seeing if it works in real life. Okay, I got strings right here. I got servos on the backside. They're gonna loop around here and then they're gonna hook at the bottom here. I'm just gonna simulate a screen just in case it explodes. And so what it's gonna do is gonna reel it up and it's gonna pull up the screen. And then when I unreel it, it's gonna go backwards. Let me figure it out. Okay, I'm kind of scared for this. This is the most scariest test 1. I don't know what's going to happen, but we are going to find out. Here we go. Look at this in action. Oh my God, it's actually working. The screen, my brain. Okay, I haven't showered yet, but I'm building this item where I showed you yesterday how it was lifting up like this. So here's what's gonna happen. I built this whole setup now. This is going to be, now the servos I had before were just testing it just to see if they can lift it. Now this is the test of how everything is gonna work in here. So basically what happens is I got the servo motors right here. When I press this button, this will be at the top of this screen. I'll press this and the motors will start turning. When they touch the top, when it reaches a certain point, it's gonna stop it. Oh, it was this one. And then it stops it right at the top. Now, when I press this button, the motors run the opposite way until it hits the bottom. So every time it touches this, it's gonna go one way or the other. And then I'm gonna connect them together because yesterday I was having the problem of when they were lifting up, they were lifting unequal. So I'm actually gonna run it a center drive. So they're gonna work together. And then they're gonna lift together. So it's not gonna have just one side or the other, just in case one motor is working faster than the other, they're gonna work together. So I'm gonna wire this up. I'm gonna build the back covers right now for the TV, the screens for it. And then we're gonna try to fit all this in, plus a MacBook, plus wiring, plus, let's just get to work.
Here's the design I came up with, something simple, clean, and super thin. Perfect for what we need.
Okay, so don't mind the mess. It's been quite a journey so far. So basically, I've made one of these back screens. This is the main screen. And then this is the secondary holder for this screen. So they're gonna layer on top of each other. So this one's actually going to go right here. It's gonna slip in here. Boom. And there's about a millimeter edge right here. So it has room to go up and down. And then we're gonna put this other display on here, like this. Okay, so now we have 2 displays on here. Now it's only about, I think it's about 7 millimeters thick in total. So hypothetically, when I push this like this, you should see the screen coming out like that. Once I have it all attached, it should just slide like that. So this is basically the whole form factor here. It's pretty flimsy right now, but it's gonna be embraced. We're gonna put a bunch of mounts here. There's gonna be servos, it's gonna be a mounting bracket, but this is just general overlay for it. And then here is the limit switches, here's one, so when it goes down, it's gonna actually hit this limit switch right here, and then it's gonna stop it. And then I'm gonna put a limit switch up top, obviously, for it to stop. And then we're gonna mount the electronics, and possibly this, and then possibly all this other stuff. So let's get to it. Okay, so I have this kind of just set together a little bit here. when I pull the string, technically, the screen comes out like this. So here's where we're at with things. I have this. Now I'm building a bridge kind of that goes here that the wire will feed through. It's gonna feed through here and it's just gonna pull it up like this. And then obviously gravity is gonna take, sorry, my place is a complete mess. So after long consideration, I think I might actually add the Mac here. Now the Macs was on top of each other like this. It was pretty spread out, but there was no way I could fit it without raising it too tall. So I decided if I take the battery off and I take the cooler off the fan, I can remove this and I could put my own fan here. I can just run wires to the battery cell. Now in practice, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'll have to relocate this, move this up, and I'll have to do some things, but I think I might be able to fit it all within a slim profile. So there's gonna be a lot of electronics here. Okay, so I don't know who's done this yet, but I am going to be possibly the first person. What I'm gonna do here, this is the battery connect system. This is a strip that goes into the battery. This kind of like manages the battery basically. These are the terminals. This is negative, this is positive. This battery was turned sideways like this in front of the computer. As you can see right here, that's where the terminals are, right here. And so basically what I'm gonna do is solder on some new points here. Since the computer is gonna be sitting like this, I'm actually gonna run wires to these terminals. Now I'm gonna connect the ribbon cable from here to here. This was the previous connector for it, and here is the ribbon cable connector for it. And then I have to cut this off as well. So I'm gonna cut this off, I'm gonna weld this onto here, do all this, and I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay, so let's just chop this. Usually I would use a like a Dremel style tool, but maybe I have to use a Dremel. It looks wrong and bad, but I can assure you it is.
No, that's not a bag of Coke, okay?
Not bad. Now it should be able to fit on my board. Okay, so I wired it up. This is my, best job at wiring it up. I have it connected to an XT30 connector, so I can unplug it and plug it if I need to change out the batteries, if I need to do something. I didn't want to solder it directly to this, but these are the terminals. I make sure that I'm in the right terminal so I don't explode anything. It probably will explode, but yeah, I have it. And I just put this little, just to make it look a little nicer, I'm gonna put a plate over here because it's gonna hold the mount for it. So there's a couple things. I'm gonna start it up and actually see if it starts. Right now we got it connected. This is got two screens. It's got this, look at this thin profile, all MacBook in here, two screens. Is going good so far. That jerry rig actually worked. So I'm actually super surprised. We're gonna have to put a screen on the edge on this, but look how thin this is. This is literally the size of an iPhone. All right, so it's 12 o'clock here. I actually have a problem. Now, I already cut off the heat sink right here. The problem I'm having is this cable can only go so far. Now, this is the cable for the fan, but it can only go so far. Now, I can put it right here, covering the heat sink as an option. But the problem is it just becomes too thick. I don't want a thick laptop or computer or whatever this is gonna be called. That little bit of thickness actually bothers me a bit. So, couple options. One, I found where the ground wire is, so I can power it, but it only runs at 100%. There's a couple different ways I can mount this. One, I can mount this right here, and then build a kind of a custom fan for the 3D print that blows cold air right on this. I just don't want this to be thick. That's the thing, is this extra 4 millimeters plus probably an extra millimeter for mounting, and then probably another 2 millimeters for the outside casing, is 7 millimeters in total, and just for the fan is just too much for me. So I gotta think of a very creative way where I could still use a fan this thin, but keep my wife's name. Day 6,500. Okay, so I had this USB port, and if I mounted it here, obviously it'd be too tall. If I mounted it here, it'd be too tall. So I ripped it apart, took off the terminals, bent them down, and now I'm gonna solder to these points. So now I'm gonna have a USB sideways. So now it's a much cleaner profile. Remember when I said I could just solder on the fan to make it spin by itself? Well, the thing is, my soldering skills aren't as precise as Apple's. I've kind of had to buy kind of a replacement. So until that comes, let's see what we got here. All right, so far I'm gonna wire up the ESP32. Now I'm just bending these pins. These are the ones that I will be using. The other ones I'll just chop off or do something with. I made these custom mounts right here for each one of these, just so it's a little more secure. Taking off this, usually it doesn't come off that easily because it's screwed down usually, but I don't have it screwed down. This I made custom brackets for, so now it's properly secured. This goes in this will power this, and these chopped off ones will actually power, give 5 volts precisely to the servos instead of the ESP32, which it might not hold current that it needs for it to spin these properly. So I have it all connected here, boom, 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 boom. Now for this. Okay, so for this was the old heatsink. The problem was it was long. This needs to be replaced and I need to change this. I mean, there's a couple options I had. One was I cut it right here and I put some slits right here. I just cut some slits in it. Maybe it'll expand out, have a fan that just blows the air. Or 2, I ordered this. Now, I don't know how well this is gonna work. This is some product that costs about 25 cents here in Thailand. And usually those products don't really, well, let's just say they're not the best. But what I could do is I could put this here and then I could put the fan and have a fan below here and make a custom outlet for it. This is actually probably made out of tinfoil. So let's try to take this off, modify this, and see what happens. So this is what the back of the CPU looks like. Thing is I don't usually work with any of this stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. Kind of feels just like Play-Doh, to be honest. But I do have some thermo grease. It's got to be good, right? It's a high 15. I'm thinking I can just cut right here and start making slow grooves across here. When I blow a fan sideways, it'll blow all that heat out of there. This is either genius or extremely stupid. The plan here is to use this precise saw that I just opened, and I'm just gonna cut slits in here. Nerds, look away. Now you can't tell me that's not art. Look at that. We have grooves cut in it. Kind of looks badass, to be honest. I mean, just gotta replace the thermal paste and I think this is good to go. Like a little zebra or something. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm centering this fan. I got this new fan that I put here and I built this custom port for it. So now it's just gonna blow cold air straight through here. Now I'm just mocking this up right now because it's gonna have to be a little lower. It's gonna have to be a little smaller and it's gonna have to be a perfect trim. So it's gonna blow cold air directly over this, and this is gonna be the exit port right here. I had the new fan. I have it printed in PTEG, bought it up right against here, so it's pushing all the air against these slats that hopefully will bring out all the air. So right now, it looks like a lot of work, but I'm actually positioning all the wires where they're gonna go, what's gonna power what. So I'm having these wires right here. They're gonna power on to the wireless device. This is because I can't do 2 monitors on a MacBook Pro M1 2020 face model. When it touches the bottom, it will turn off. No wires will be connected. And then only once when it gets lifted off, it will then start the screens up. I have it set so when this touches a ground that's connected to this, it will automatically trigger to turn off. Theoretically, I'm going to plug this in and hopefully it's gonna work. Now, I don't want this to attach to anything just yet and to start moving, but I just wanna see the moving. I wanna see if this actually stops. I just wanna see if the general functions of this works. So I'm gonna plug this into the power supply here and hopefully nothing smokes. Okay, we have the fan turned on. So technically when I press this button, it should move. And then when I stop it, and it stopped. And then it should go the opposite way. And then, hypothetically, I could just take this and short it out kind of. Okay, and then I press this again, and it should move the other way. And then I pull it up and it works. I'm not gonna lie, I'm super nervous about this. This is the first time after all this build that I'm going to try to bring up this screen. So I don't know what is going to happen, but I'm nervous because it could completely just destroy everything. I'm really nervous about this one. So I'm gonna tilt the screen up. So it fired up. The screen is turning on. Okay, so if I hit this button right here, okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh fucking. Oh no, it snapped. Oh, I'm so confused. What happened? Oh. All right, this is control test number 2. I replaced the wire. The wire broke. Took me about 20 minutes to replace. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Let's hope this pulls out and stops. Please, just stop. That's the goal, is for it to stop. Once it hits this point, please don't break again. Okay, okay. Not bad, not bad. Not bad. Oh my God, it stopped. Okay, I didn't think it stopped. Oh my God, oh God, oh God, oh God. It's the stopping mechanism that's really fucking things up. So after all this work, I pulled the screen a little too far because I had it attached to here, just because I just tried to pull it out because I was making contact points here that grounds it out. So when it touches a certain point, it'll ground out and it'll also shut the screen off. It'll hit that limit switch. This is what happened. So now I have to go and somehow find a ribbon cable that will replace this. So I have a couple different options on what to do, how to fix the cable. One is I buy a new cable. It takes a long time to get from China. 2 is I just buy another screen, which is another $75 or so. Or 3, well, I have a nice balcony that's pretty high up. I could launch it off of.
2.5 week wait for a cable. So let's turbo my car.
Okay, new ribbon cable. I'm back in business. So I'm just gonna figure out how to do this ribbon cable. Make sure this one doesn't break, and then I'm gonna put things back together.
Now there's so many custom little pieces that I made for this, but I didn't want to add them in the video because it would be boring.
Now I'm kind of nervous about this because last time I did this, it actually broke a lot of things. So this time I had to wait weeks for a new cable, ribbon cable for my screen. I had to, I'm just afraid that this is just going to not work and break. I'm gonna plug in the battery and we're gonna just see what happens after this. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Oh my God, it rolled it up. It did it. Does it roll down? Oh my God, and it rolled. Let's roll it up. Oh my God, it did it. It rolled it up. Oh my gosh, and everything. It finally worked. Okay, so now I have everything together. This is the first startup of everything kind of laid out, put together. It's a little sloppy just because I gotta touch up some things, but I'm basically going to go over this and talk about what everything does here. At first, I was going to have cables just leading out here, but then if it's gonna be wireless, I don't want cables just dragging on here. So I have these 2 cables right here that essentially should provide enough power through this, powering all this. There's 2 cables here. This second one powers the second screen. This one powers the main board that's connected to all these other, the other stuff. Now we have the MacBook that's chopped up. We got this. All we need to do is plug this in. We have the fan that's gonna spin. It's gonna cool down the GPU or PCU, baby, ABBCD. Now this is where it comes down to. I'm going to see if this actually lifts up. I'm gonna plug the second screen in, so hopefully we don't see any kind of sparking or anything like that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No way did that work. Oh my gosh. I fucking did it. I did it. God. Oh my God, that's amazing. All right, let's turn this off and let's put this together. I mean, this is all 2 screens, a MacBook, batteries, everything, portable display, everything in this compact size.
I think the design is equally as important as the engineering, which is why I created this case and stand that not only looks good in my opinion, but is also functional. And I mean, come on, Apple, it's an integrated MagSafe stand for the computer. I mean, how convenient is that? Why haven't you done this? Or, I mean, you could just hire me and I have a whole list of innovations.
So I printed the back cover and it's finally finished, but since my printer is so small, I had to print it in 4 parts, and it also caused it to warp it. I did print it in PLA, so it could be part of the issue. You can see it's kind of wavy. I spent a couple hours bending it, but it's really hard because it keeps shrinking and all kinds of stuff. So I'm just gonna make sure this is sealed all up, and then I'm gonna wrap it, and then we're gonna start putting this on.
So I wanted to put fabric on the back of this because I think fabric is going to be like one of those new organic materials that are going to go on electronics. Now electronics have gotten so stale and cold and metally. I think it needs cloth to be warmed up, and it's going to be the future, and it's reusable as well.
All right, it's getting kind of late here, but this is a little bit of what I'm doing. Now I left this because this is going to go in here, and if I keep it, it will almost block it. I think I'm going to paint the sides black, kind of wrap them just to make them look nicer. Okay, so now I got the back cover on, looking like this. I'm gonna put this strip on to make it look a little cleaner. So we're gonna put some matte black strips on, so it's gonna look a little cleaner, and then we're gonna do gloss black on the top here.
But there's just something about this that doesn't sit right with me.
So I was just not satisfied with this cover. This cover was just, it was warped, it was just not straight. There was just so many little issues with it. So I scrapped it. I wanted to build another one. And this one fits absolutely perfect. Now, obviously, it's not screwed in, but look at the fitment on this. This one is just fitting so much better. I mean, it just fits flush with this. I'm printing this one in PTEG, but this one is definitely looking perfect. So this is before and this is after. So now I want to fix everything else because this looks so clean. So this actually fits. It kind of fits like just barely in here.
Now this project was never meant to be mass produced. This was just a showcase thinking outside the box with some broken electronics and some unused parts. And sure, there are things I would have done differently, but I'm only a one-man team. And I love creating innovative solutions to hard problems, so if you're a company or work for one and need help, hit me up.
So not only does it have 2 screens, but this also has another party trick up its sleeve. These are AirPods. When you put them on, you can now charge your AirPods directly from the stand. So this entire setup was built for under $100. I used a broken MacBook and an external portable monitor, and I bought this second monitor for $60. Everything else I custom designed and reused parts. So if you like this video, I appreciate if you give me a like or a follow, and leave in the comments what you like about this design. It would really help me out, and if you think Apple should hire me. So it took me a month and a half with a full-time job, and this is what I built, came up with, designed, and engineered. Until next time, until next video, I'm gonna try to post more, and this is gonna close perfectly as it should. I'll see you. Thank you for watching.